أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد أحييكم جميعا بتحية الإسلام يا السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. So Alhamdulillah, today we continue once again with our etiquettes of social interaction from Surah Al-Hujurat with Dr. Haifa Yunus. So the other day, or last week, I should say, we got to a point where we finished the whole surah already. And now inshallah, after we finish the surah, we go into the Q&A session. Now, Q&A is meaning question and answers between Dr. Haifa Yunus and also the audience that she has with her. So we listen to the questions. These might be some of the questions that we are also thinking of. So without further ado, inshallah, let us play the video.
But also, sir, if they have any questions inside themselves that is not in the Q&A session, they can just write it down, and then later on they can ask either their class teacher or you and me.
We can do another session live where we read the questions and then we answer them together.
Sure, inshallah. Okay, all right. Let's start, sir.
This is what you are running away from. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teach us, Ya Rabbi Ameen, myself number one before anyone. Teach us what is beneficial and more importantly, help us to practice. I don't think anything I said in the last almost 45 minutes that anyone in this room didn't know. We just need a reminder and we need the strength to practice and we need to help each other. We need to learn when someone is backbiting, say, please, let's not do that. This is backbiting. This is not pleasing to Allah, at least inside the masjid or inside our homes. Not like, really, and then you help. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all our shortcomings. Ya Rabbi Ameen. Jazakum Allahu khairan. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi tasliman kathira. Jazakum Allah khair. You were amazing. Subhanallah, you really listened. And none of the kids were a distraction. Subhanallah. Any questions? Anybody? Yes, please. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
This is on the subject of backbiting.
I knew it.
Would it be considered
Tomorrow
backbiting?
is all about backbiting, don't worry.
Yes. Would it be considered backbiting if you're in a group and people are talking like extensively about somebody else's life, not in a bad way, but just like talking about...
That's called vain talk. For example, she traveled or he traveled, they got a new job. As long as there is no negative, it's basically you're not backbiting, but that's vain talk. قد أفلح المؤمنون, successful the believer, بصلاتهم خاشعون, they are in khushu' during والذين هم عن اللغو معرضون. One of the definitions of laghu is vain talk. Just talk that's going to get me nowhere. But it is negative talk is backbiting. Yes, please. Wa alaikum salam. If someone wronged me and you are hurt and you want to vent,
not in public, but to like maybe your mother or maybe a sister,
backbiting,
just to like get some advice.
Backbiting.
Still backbiting.
Unless you didn't say the name. If you come for an advice, which is very common, you know what? Somebody at work did this to me. What do you think I should do? That's not backbiting. You did not specify. But if you're going to come and says, my husband did 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, with all my apology, it's backbiting. Or you go and say, my wife did 1, 2, 3, 4, it's backbiting. There's no exception, very few, and I'm not going to give you the exceptions, because everybody is going to hold to the exceptions. Yes. Any of the brothers? Yes, please. The young man behind you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
A bunch of people...
How old are you first?
14.
14. MashaAllah. And you stayed listening to this. You made me happy. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. Yes, go.
Some people have said that you're allowed to backbite when the person in question is someone in power. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, I don't think I understood you.
Some people have said that if you're backbiting about someone in power, it doesn't count. Is that true?
It does count. even leaders. It's the same definition. The only time it is not backbiting, now everybody's going to hold to this because that's if the person is doing something publicly. For example, they're on the TV, said something, and that something is negative. And you said, you know what? That's what they said on the TV. Because public, al-mujahar bil-ma'asiyah. This is not. But most of the time is we go on and on and on. On and on is backbiting. When you start adding your opinion, and the best way is, as I always say it, zip it. The best way to stay safe. Sayyidina Umar said, من كثر كلامه من كثر كلامه كثر خطأه ومن كثر خطأه كثر سقطه. Whomsoever speaks too much will make mistakes, and the person who makes a lot of mistakes will lose the respect. Anybody in the back? Ladies.
Ladies in the back.
Okay, so now the topic is on backbiting. Okay, so specifically on backbiting. Now, she mentioned earlier on, Yunus mentioned that there are several situations. Okay, so most of them, yes, it's considered as backbiting. The first question was in regards to talking about someone behind their backs, but it's not about something negative, right? So if it's not about something negative, it's considered as vain talk. If there's nothing else you can take out of the story, out of the something that someone is talking about, then it's considered as vain talk.
No benefit.
No benefit. Now, why do sometimes we tell people to stay away from vain talk? Because by doing vain talk, sometimes you might relate it to other things and it might come back to backbiting or talking bad or negatively about someone, about something. So that's one part. The other part is talking about backbiting in general, regardless of what situation, usually it comes back to backbiting, especially if the person is known and then you speak of the name of that person, you're complaining to your friends, you're venting out and so on, it's still considered as backbiting.
Ustaz, I have a question. All right. Now, let's say that in our student situation, in their classroom, they see their friends doing something wrong, cheating in homework, in assignments, or doing something that is wrong against the school rules and also against the Sharia Islamiyah. And then they come to me, for example, as a face leader, they want to report. They have to mention the name of the student. Will that be considered as backbiting, Ustaz?
Okay, so the example that Ustaz Asa just gave now was very specific. Okay, so let's look at it in a bigger picture first, and then we come back to the specifics. Now, in a bigger picture form, say for example, we're in a whole country, and the country has laws. Same as this, we are in this school, and the school has rules, which are the laws, right?
Yeah.
Now, what if someone breaks a rule in that country? Do we just leave that person be?
No, we have to report it.
Precisely. Let's say that person is doing drugs or that person has illegal weapons. We're talking about the whole country situation, right? So of course, someone reports it to the police and then the police will open an investigation and then so on, right? So same goes in our context, but in our smaller community, which is in our school. If something is done which is against the rules, it's not considered as backbiting, but because the person is going to an authority and that authority can take charge or can take action towards whatever that is wrong is being done. Why? Because if it is left, it will become a cancer towards the society. Say, for example, in cheating, they leave that person cheating. So no one knows about it, and then the cheating just becomes greater and greater. It involves more people and so on because the school isn't doing anything about it. So with that, it will bring negativity towards the school. It will affect the school. It becomes a cancer to the school. So regardless if it's cheating in assignments or in your exams and so on, and not just cheating, anything else that is against the rules, then it is okay for the students to go to an authority figure to take action against the wrong action.
They have to come and report.
Precisely.
It's not backbiting, right?
No.
Okay, right. Thank you very much for that.
Welcome.
Shall we continue?
Yes.
Oh, you have a-
Yes, okay.
I can. Let me phrase my question.
Yes,
So, you said that we cannot say anything about anyone at all.
at all.
But one needs therapy sometimes. And your niya is not to hurt or say things, but you just, you need
Okay, for
some
therapy.
therapy because if you didn't, you're going to go
It's a
insane.
beautiful community, so you don't say anything unless it's therapy. It's okay. Therapy, you
One
do.
can go crazy if they
you
don't get
do.
therapy.
Because one of the allowed ones is when you go and complain about injustice that happened against you. It's one of the ones that's allowed. Or in case of marriage, or in case of recommendation. For somebody, for example, you have a handyman coming to work in your home, and he worked in my home. So you pick up the phone and me and says, how was the job? Well, he didn't do a good job. I have to tell you, but I have to say it in a nice way. I'll give you two examples. One recent, and I was there, a woman came to the sheikh asking him about somebody he knows very well for marriage. So the sheikh wanted to tell her, it's not a good idea, right? What did he say? Now, the answer to yours and to you and to, he said he comes from a country that is well known that they have temper. What did he just told her? He has a temper, but he did it indirectly. Are you with me? A man divorced his wife, right? And they came to ask him, why did you divorce? He said, I do not talk about something in the past. They came to him and said, your ex-wife married somebody else. He said, I don't talk about the wife of other people. Are you with me? Yeah, you all are silent. I love it. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing this surah. Honestly, wallahi, we can do it. It's just because it is, everyone is doing it. What are we going to talk about? I didn't mean it. It's true, and we justify it. But if we really start paying attention, that we're going to be asked about these words. As Sayyid Rasul said to Sayyidina Mu'adh, ثَكَلَتْكُ أُمُّكَ يَا Mu'adh. May your mother mourn you. What else will put people in the hellfire but the harvest of their tongue? Subhanallah. We have to stop, right? No, we have one more question. I don't know. There's somebody, a young person at the end. I don't know. They really have a question, or they're just raising their hand. I don't know.
We're back there?
Is there somebody from the? Yeah. Let's take from the men's side.
Over there.
Yes,
Over
please.
There. She wants over there.
No, there is brother. There's yeah. He was before, and then we'll go to you. Don't worry.
Jazakallah khair,
Well,
Sheikh.
yeah.
Alhamdulillah. I had two specific questions,
Yes.
one on slandering and the other on backbiting.
Okay.
In terms of slandering, if a person slanders you, and like what do you recommend should be done, especially if they have like mental illnesses like narcissism? Should we, have sabr, or should we take gestures for that? And if a person comes and asks you about that situation, what should your response be?
So someone slander you
Yeah.
publicly?
Yes.
Publicly.
Yes.
What do? Alhamdulillah, we live in a country that there is laws. So first, before you go to that far, you go and reach to the people who knows that person, right? That's why the Muslim community, you reach to the imam, you reach to a friend, and you say, this is what I heard. Please just tell them, stop it, wa'afa Allah amma salaf. I'm not going to do anything. Just let's not go there. Let's not talk about this. No, it's continued. There is rules here in this country. You know that. You don't want to go that far, but if it's continuing, especially if it is hurting you, whether hurting you at work, hurting you in your reputation, yes, you have to take it. But don't go that far, right? But don't answer and start, let them see themselves. Then you are the same. You don't want to be the same as the other person. That's why Rasul ﷺ said, Al-qatil wal-maqtul fi nar. He said, the two people who are trying to kill each other, both are in the hellfire. One killed the other. Both are in the hellfire. Said, Ya Rasulullah, one was killed. So the killer, okay, but why the other person in the hellfire? He said, because if he didn't kill him, he would have killed him. So I will not respond the same way, because then I'm the same. But I'm going to try what I want. I want them to stop saying this. So you're going to reach to people to stop. They didn't, then you take the legal actions if it's really hurting you, or just Afa Allah amma salaf, just forgive and pardon. It depends how much harm is there.
Also, the second on
Yes.
backbiting was that there's an opinion I've heard that if it's someone who's not Muslim, you're allowed because it says
No,
afihi.
it's the same. It's the same. I'm glad you asked this, because I forgot to say this. Because he didn't say only the Muslims. It's the same. How do you feel if a non-Muslim backbited you? Hurt. Same thing. We need to really elevate the Muslim Ummah. SubhanAllah, as I was reading one of the commentaries about this just before I came, and he was describing if this Ummah applied to the letter this surah, it will be the ideal society. Subhanallah. Yes, the young man and the last one. Yes.
Earlier in your talk, you said that you were talking about the order of which Surah Hujurat was, and you said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the Prophet how the order was. But wasn't the Quran compiled after his death?
No. I'm glad you asked this. The Quran was compiled at the time for Rasulullah. There's a difference between compiled and written, and they made the Quran that we know of. This one is the time of Sayyidina Uthman. That's why I called it Mushaf al-Uthmani. This one, right? But at the time of Rasulullah, it was compiled. It was this one, this one, this one, this one. And then at the time of Sayyidina Abu Bakr, he made it bain al-daffatain. He made it with two. And it stayed with whom? Stayed with whom? I didn't hear it. Somebody said it in the back. One of the wives of Rasul, she kept it with her. Who was it? Sayyidah Hafsa, the daughter of Sayyidina Umar. Till Sayyidina Abu Bakr came in, when the Muslim Ummah became big everywhere, they came to him and says, people are reading it differently, now different languages, like see how we are, and we are worried it's going to change. So he called 5 of the Kuttabul Wahi, those who really they were writing as a Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, and he said, send to Hafsa and take permission from her to give it to me so they can write exactly what's in this one, and I'll bring it back to her. So he did 5 of them, and the 5 of them then went to different parts of the world, and that's how we ended up with this. Right? جزاكم الله خيرا. May Allah reward you all. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. صلى الله عليه.
Okay. So again, we close this session talking about backbiting and also about the Quran, right? How it was compiled. There was a student that came to me last week and also asked me about the same question. And this question usually comes out in IGCSE. So it's a good point where she also mentions this, meaning that about the compilation of the Quran is confirmed. Now, before that, we go to the question of the young man in regards to slandering, right?
Yeah.
So nowadays, we have the digital age where slandering doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go in front of other people and talk, or talk behind people's back, but it can also be done online.
Yeah.
Now, these sort of things, again, online bullying, or sometimes it's considered as online bullying, spreading fake rumors about some people and so on, or spreading rumors in general, right? So these are considered as slanders. And if that person, or if it is hurting that person can take charge or can go against that person, but not by spreading other rumors, not becoming the same level, right? Because why? Because again, they're both trying to hurt each other at this point. What they should do is first and foremost reach out to the people that know that person that is spreading the false rumor, and then saying that this is hurting me, stop it, and then forgive that person.
Actually, Ustaz, I face this a lot. Okay, I have this a lot among my boys here, where one of them started bad words, slandering others, and then the others will retaliate by also saying the same things. So when we call both of them, he started first, and then he said, so you see, she mentioned just now, you go to the authority.
Precisely.
Yes, you don't retaliate, you don't say back, you don't act back by saying the bad word as well.
Because again, among the reasons why people are put in hellfire is because they don't watch their tongue. Okay, so be careful of what you say. If it's hurtful things, if it might lead to backbiting and so on, just be careful and be mindful of what you say, always. I don't think we have enough time.
Yes, Ustaz. So we have reached, Alhamdulillah, finally we have reached to the last part of the video that we have, I think, 5 sessions, right?
Yeah.
Okay, 5 sessions of our character education period with the etiquettes of social interaction. We really hope that all of you, okay, with all the notes that you have taken in the worksheet that has been given to you, already benefited from the talk by Dr. Haifa Yunus, where we did the tadabbur of this Surah Al-Hujurat and it really touches every aspect of our social life, our daily life. And we really hope that we will hold on to these values, inshallah, where we want our school especially, to live on with this system of the surah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already given to us as a Muslim. So inshallah, we really hope that all of you benefited from this, and we will see you again, inshallah. So okay, there will be more session of this videos and also of these values that we will continue, inshallah. Thank you very much, Ustaz, for handling this session with me. Okay, inshallah, we will see you again.
Inshallah.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Thank you very much, boys and girls, students and teachers. Inshallah, we meet again in next session. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.